Hi, this is Sue from the Mountain Canary Company. Ed's going to show you how to make another one of his hearty camp kitchen meals.
Wow, she did it. She was struggling with the word hearty. Her tongue got all wrapped around it. Poor Sue has a time. I'll tell her something and she changes it, and then she goes, "Oh, I forgot, I did it wrong." Well, poor girl. She's the best though. You guys you couldn't do this without her. Okay, a while back I was telling you folks about, I was talking about Nora meals. I told you I was going to do a meal which combined canned meat and one of these stroganoff meals. These are really good. I won't be pushing the darn thing. For years, packing and working, I'd come back to camp and I'd grab one of these things and fire them off, which they're fine. They're tasty. And so I'd fire one of these up in a hot boiled water, and I'd just be glad to have a meal. Well, these are now getting up and around $7 or $8 a pack, and these are like $1 a pack. And you take and combine that with a can of actual roast beef, and you know, that's about a little over $2 a can or so. You watch them, you sometimes get a better deal on them. So we've got in and around $3.50 versus $7 or $8, and when we're done, we've got actual food in us, not dehydrated food. So I think, all in all, I think I'm going to try from now on. Again, I wouldn't be doing this if I was packing hard. Well, this for you folks. Again, I'm not trying to scare you off by packing hard, but the thing is, you can actually plan these meals, and look at, there isn't that much difference. There's a slight difference in weight. We're not putting it on our back. We're putting it in a box. The volume is the thing to look at. So actually, we can put a pretty good meal out here. So I'll put this aside and save it for the day I have to go back to work. So these Nor meals, you can cook them either in a pan or you could cook them in a microwave. Well, today we're going to do microwave. My cook kit's out in a container. So, and this is a can of roast beef. You can get all different brands. This has been the cheapest brand, and it's also the best I've had. So what I did was, the first thing I do is this container. This requires a container that'll hold about 2 cups, and actually you need more because this will actually swell up on you as you're boiling it. So what I do is, the first thing I do is I open the can up and I drain off the fluid and separate out the meat. That way I know how much fluid I have. In this case, this recipe calls for 2 cups of water. I replace one of the cups of water with a cup of the broth that's in the can of roast beef, and another cup of water, and then the next thing it calls for, it recommends a half a cup of milk. Well, you know, this stuff is milk. Simply fat, non-fat milk. I'd rather have the fat, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace, just add, because it would have been a cup and a half of fluid plus half a cup of milk. I'm just going to put 2 cups of fluid in. I'm going to toss in about 3 teaspoons of dry milk, which could make it pretty rich. Now this can be taken in a simple little luncheon bag, little plastic Ziploc bag. Okay. And now I've got that all mixed in. Next goes in. I'm going to hold back on the meat for about, let it cook for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to throw the meat in with it. It's all cooked or pre-cooked anyway. I'm just making it hot. Gonna open up our handy dandy little meal here. And if you'll notice inside there's lots of noodles and the other components. Okay. Give her a stir, stir, stir. Mix it up good. And I'm going to stick it in a microwave over here for 5 minutes. First 5 minutes. Yeah, I got 2 cups. This can easily be done in a pot over your little stove. Very easily done. Now while we're doing that, what I've done here is I've taken some of our dehydrated broccoli and I've regenerated it. Already heated it up. Whoops. And already made it alive again. But when I did this, I learned something. I've never dehydrated broccoli before. And a little warning. If you look real closely in this container, you'll see how these flowers of broccoli flowers have kind of broke up. And there's a lot of the petals of them offer. These are petals off a broccoli flower. So we've got lots of petals in here, which are going to make it a little bit difficult to eat unless you threw them into like a soup or something. So if you're going to, when you do your broccoli, which is one of the things that's easy to do because you buy a big bag of broccoli flowers already worked over, and I would be very careful when I'm handling them. When you put them in a dehydrator, I would not cut them up very small. I'd suggest you actually leave them whole. And if you're going to eat them like that, leave them whole, and then dehydrate them, and then vacuum pack them. There was about that much in this bowl, in this little package. That's a lot of broccoli. So they're going to be served with this as a part of the dish. I'm not going to mix it. I could, but I'm not going to mix it because I don't want you to get the idea you have to do that. So, okay, now we're just going to take a little break right here for a second. And we're going to let this cook off. And I'm not going to stop you at 5 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll just go throw this in and come back at 10. You don't have to stand around that long. Okay, thank you, folks. I'll be right back. You're back already? Boy, you got here just in time. I was ready to start eating. Yeah, we heated this up and put just as at the end of the heat. I was wrong. I waited a little longer to throw the meat in because I didn't want to interfere with the noodles being softened. And they softened up really nice. But let me jump over here and move this over so Sue can get a picture of it in here. That turned out really nice. Now that's 1 can of roast beef in there. Now, Sue and I are relatively light eaters anymore. So this will probably satisfy her and I both. And then the vegetables. That's a pretty nicely balanced meal. You got your carbs, your proteins, and some flavor. So that's a pretty good balanced meal. So again, though, this is compared to the Mountain House meals. One of these we can knock one of these out for one person, two people. Or you can knock it out for one real hungry person. Or you can throw another can of roast beef in. And now you have even a heartier meal for 2 people. It's real easy to do, easy to fix. And in that case, you've raised the price about $2.50 more. So you're right at a range where it's really, really profitable. So let me stop with this for a second, let it soak just a little longer. It's a good idea after you've heated this all up, to kind of cover it and let it set for a few moments, to let those noodles even take up a little more of that gravy that's in there. This made a beautiful gravy. Now what I did here was, again, I recommend don't play with your food. don't break up your broccoli any more than you have to when you dry it. What I did was I just split it all up, and what I did for a little flavor, extra flavor to it, because I'm not going to probably have any butter in the backcountry, which I had to add some butter to this. I forgot. You can get dried butter you can bring in and so forth, but for this I added this is called True Lemon, which is actually lemon juice that's been dried. You can get it in the usually in the section of the store, two places. One of them you'll find it in with the powdered drinks. And if you can't get the real, just the lemon, you don't get the lemonade or anything like that, just the real lemon juice, or you go over to the baking department. You'll find it in the baking department. I just added a pack to each one of these, which will give it a little tang, a little more flavor, and so that'll add a little bit more to our meal tonight. So, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plate this out. I'm having a horrible time not licking the spoon. You see, this is real meat in here, and a goodly amount of it. You go to the dehydrated meals, you don't get that kind of meat. I said if you needed more, you could just add another can of, throw another potato on, add another can of meat, or getting real crazy, just get another pack of this stuff. You know, that's $1. This has been pretty reasonable meals. And if you want to take cheese in with you or add cheese to it, let's do what you ever want to do. Okay, that's my answer to a really nice hearty meal in the backcountry. If you're in elk camp and the guys have been out all day, getting wet, getting cold, come back, you make up a couple of these or so, some this, you've got yourself, find yourself some dehydrated carrots, some broccoli. You've got yourself, you're going to sit these guys down, they think they're sitting to a meal at home. It's going to be great. So, that's one more of our hearty camp meals. Right here at the old Ed's Galley. So, I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm about to sit here, I'm drooling on my shirt here. I'm about to sit down and eat my makins here. But don't hesitate to look at some of these NAR meals. This is by far what I'm considered the best, because we can add things to it. You can take some of your other meals, like your cheeses and noodles, and you can add like a pack of tuna to it. Or you can find other types of meats that are in cans or in pouches that can be added to it. Now you've got a meal. You got actually something that's going to stick to your ribs. Tomorrow morning when you get up, you're going to be looking for breakfast. But in the middle of the night, you're not going to go, oh, I got the hungries. Okay, so folks, thank you so very much for coming by. And remember, please, get out there as often as you can and ride as safely as you can. Thank you very much, and you all have a great night.